No, I think we're just about finished with everything. They've been brief, if anything. But yeah, I mean, Josh is a great guy, and Zach picked a good person to come in and clean up and finish up for him.
I mean, listen, I love Zach, and that's kind of what I signed up for, whatever, 8 years ago, is to have his vision. And you know, the cool thing about that 4 hour piece is that I didn't reshoot anything. Like that was all there. So
Really?
it's interesting when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I really love this, and it was so detailed and it explained so much." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we went and shot."
Suck it, Warner Brothers. Suck it.
Wow. His words, not mine. But yeah, suck it, Warner Brothers.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fandom United Live. Again, that's live every Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m. I'm Gio. I'm the showrunner. I'm the producer. I'm the host. And I'll be your entertainment, hopefully, for the next hour, maybe hour and a half. I am waiting on my usual guest, Mr. Keith Barnes, to join in. But this one will be interesting. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. Yesterday was Superman Day. It was also the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones movie. And it's also a good time to talk about Indiana Jones 5. I got set photos. I got some rumors. It's going to be some exciting stuff. We got Starju here. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for joining in. By the way, those of you who are regulars of Fandom United Live, you're going to get your own drops. That's right. Every time I notice you're in the chat, say hi, and I will play your drop. Now, for Starju, it's tough, man. I tried looking on the internet. I was like, let me find something with Starju, anything like, and what I got was this was the best I could do for you, sir. Yeah, I typed in on YouTube Starju. I've searched through videos. Drops are basically like little clips you play that kind of, I don't know, lighten the mood. Just a fun thing that you do on these YouTube channels. I did one for Rachel. Here's Rachel's right here. Rachel! And then I got one for Jake Berlin whenever he stops by.
Jake!
I got one for my brother, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
And I'm working on getting some others. So yeah, I got my co-host here, my featured guest, if you will, Mr. Keith Barnes. Keith, how's it going, man?
What's going on? What's happening? Happy Sunday. Phoenix Suns have just completed a 4-0 sweep over the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, they won? Man.
Yes.
Hey, they're my favorite now to win the NBA title now.
They might be the best team left in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Yeah. I was just telling Starju here that if you become a featured viewer of Fandom United Live, I'm going to give you your own drop to kind of, personalize the channel a little bit. These streams I do. Rachel's was easy. I mean, I think about anytime I hear Rachel, I think about this. Rachel! Do you know what movie that's from?
No.
That's The Dark Knight.
Oh, was it? It was a little bit. It didn't fully. My computer didn't. it doesn't fully play it like. Yeah. Now that's it. Now, yeah.
Starju says
Starju, what's
hello.
happening?
He is
What's going on?
our looks like our one and only. Thank you again for being here, Starju. I appreciate
Yes.
it. Yeah, man, it was a week for sure, man. I mean, just look, I know I'm talking to you and you're older than me, but I mean, I felt I once again was reminded that we're getting older, man. We're getting old, and this past week was the 25th anniversary of one of the best action movies from one of the most unexpected directors who, if you talk about him today, you sort of laugh and like, but there was a time when he was a big deal. The movie I'm talking about last week was the 25th anniversary of The Rock.
Yeah.
Starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Widely regarded as one of Michael Bay's best films, if not his best movie. And an all-star cast. The most ridiculous plot. But it's the performances. And Michael Bay, before he went like really like, you know,
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, exactly, 200%. The Rock is actually a very, very entertaining and good movie. How do you feel about The Rock 25 years later, Keith?
I saw it in the theater. I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Really? Wow. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, still, it's very good. It's very good. It's definitely of its time, you know.
Oh yeah. Late
I
90s action.
Yeah. I watched it maybe 2 years ago. Watched it. I hadn't seen it in a while. It was 2019 because we were just going through a bunch of movies with the kids as they're getting older. I'm showing them stuff that I used to watch when I was their age. So, this is one of them, and but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. There's a lot of kind of cartoonish characters in it. Some of the villains that are very over the top. Yeah, very cartoonish. But we actually are going to. We'll probably talk. We will be actually talking about this movie in our discussion tonight. So, just a little spoiler. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. Sean Connery is James Bond in this movie.
That's what I was hearing, dude. Like a lot of people are saying this is like a kind of a closing chapter for Sean Connery's James Bond.
James Bond, yes, they say because that's been the popular fan theory forever. I think I forgot what his alias. It's just John Doe, right? Or was it John Doe or just?
Yeah,
they called him
John Doe.
He had a name though.
They took everything from him, the government, once they caught him. And if you haven't seen the movie, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but he's a former SAS.
He was a British agent. Yep.
Yeah, operative, and
who got caught.
Yes.
And they disavowed him. Basically, they just said we don't know him. So
the character's name is John Patrick Mason.
Mason. Yep. Which nice, sure, an alias for James Bond, I'm sure, but it's James Bond. Like he's basically James Bond. So, he's just a British agent that got caught and then just sat in American prison forever.
Hey, Star Drew.
Welcome to the Rock. I've never been to Alcatraz. All these years I've lived here, I've never been to Alcatraz.
Yeah, I always see it from a distance. Every time I either drive through Sacramento or San Francisco, or I'm in San Francisco. Oh, look, there's Alcatraz Island.
Exactly. I've never actually gone out there for a tour. But it's a pretty good movie. Like you said, it is a ridiculous. They're going to steal these missiles and launch them into San Francisco. But like I said, we're going to talk. I'm just like I said, give you the hint. We're going to talk about Ed Harris later. But this is Nick Cage at his full. I mean, I wonder if this is the beginning of like Nick Cage it's either this or Con Air, right? Where he's like Nick Cage.
And people don't talk about this enough, but like late 90s Nick Cage, action star.
Yeah.
Action star.
This is
Man.
right in the middle of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look at his filmography real quick, because I think you're right. This might have been the time when he, started
This Face Off, Con Air
Yeah.
is right in that.
He had I believe he won an Oscar in I think 90, 95, 96 or
For
something
Las
like
Vegas.
that, or it might have been earlier for it was
Leaving-
Raising Arizona, right?
Leaving Las Vegas, right? Was leaving Las Vegas?
Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, something like that.
Let me
Can't remember what year that was. Yeah, it was.
There it is. All right, here it is. Nicolas Cage filmography. So, let's see here. 87 was Moonstruck. I like that one.
Yeah, that's right.
95, Leaving Las Vegas. I think you're right. It might have been Leaving Las Vegas.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. He got the Academy Award for Best Actor. I stand corrected for Leaving Las Vegas. That was in 95. 96, he does The Rock.
Yeah.
97, he does Con Air and Face Off. Wow, what a year for him.
That was both in 97. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then 98 was City of Angels.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. And then 2000 was Gone in 60 Seconds. And
was that 2000? Okay.
And The Family Man.
Oh, Don Cheadle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to say The Rock was like when he started. I think it happened later. 2002, he did Adaption. I haven't seen that one. Have you seen that?
No, that's where he's playing is it Kaufman, one of the Kaufman brothers.
Charlie Kaufman, yeah.
Charlie Kaufman, yeah.
It might have been around after National Treasure. I think National Treasure, and then he did Lord of War, which I haven't seen.
That's a good movie. Lord of War is very good.
Damn.
Oh, you gotta check that out. I think you'd like that. Actually, Gio, that's a movie you'd like.
I loved him in World Trade Center. That was a disturbing one about the
Twin
towers.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah, but then
Matchstick Men is very good. He did a movie with
2003.
Ridley Scott. Yeah, that's a very good movie.
It might have been around Ghost Rider time in 2007.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he did Ghost Rider, and then he was in Grindhouse. Robert Rodriguez's Grindhouse.
Planet Terror. I don't even remember him in that.
Dr. Fu Manchu.
What? I don't even remember that at all. I gotta watch that again.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after that, National Treasure, Book of Secrets, Bangkok Dangerous. Yeah, that's when he started. Mid 2000s,
But like The Rock was like, but he was being that Nick Cage character. I think probably. I think he said Con Air was first, right? Was that 97? Oh, The Rock was before Con Air, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, The Rock was 96.
So, okay, it was probably The Rock then, yeah, where he kind of started being that Nick Cage character, kind of, sort of in everything, But he's still good. He's fun. He's great. We love Nick Cage. He's an entertaining guy. Makes a lot of weird purchases in his personal life.
Yeah,
but whatever. Whatever. Do your thing. But seems like he's a good guy. So.
But man, dude, I don't know. When Michael Bay gets it right, I feel like he really gets it right.
Yeah. He had some heavy hitters performing. Like he has some good actors in this movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sean Connery decided to do a Michael Bay movie.
Right.
Just think about that. Think about that, kids. Before Transformers 4 and 5 and Underground 6, which I turned off after like 15 minutes.
Yeah, same here. I couldn't watch it.
Michael Bay was a very respectable filmmaker, especially in the action genre, with The Rock, Bad Boys, and I think he did one more.
Armageddon was right after The Rock, I think.
Man, dude, Armageddon was like I don't know. There was something about Armageddon. It was a
movie.
huge massive hit.
Yeah, it was. I saw it in the theater too, man. It's a silly movie, of course, but it's good though. It's fun. It's good. You care about all those characters, and I'd probably choose Armageddon over The Rock if I had to choose between two. But The Rock's right up there though. Definitely, it's top maybe of Michael Bay. It's not the greatest. I mean, top 3 or 4. It's not. We're not talking about, but. Definitely top 3. But I think I'd probably go with Armageddon. That's my favorite Bay movie. So.
It's close for me. I mean, I love The Rock, but
yeah,
there's something about Armageddon, man. I don't know if it's the Aerosmith soundtrack, if it's Bruce Willis, and
right.
That ensemble cast.
Hey, listen, the whole theater was crying. Whole theater was crying in that movie.
Oh yeah, man, dude. It still gets you, man. It's a beautiful song by Aerosmith too, man.
It is. I love that song.
Yeah. I mean, Steven Tyler, albeit his daughter was in the movie, but he went all out on writing that song, man.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking throughout the week, this past week, man, The Rock. What makes The Rock great? And for me, it's like, it's how great the antagonist is, or the villain. Ed Harris, and as General Francis Humble, he is incredible, and it got me thinking, like, man, in that movie you really understand his motives, you understand what he's doing, and you kind of like him even more as a villain when you find out he never intended to kill people. He never intended to use lethal force. When spoiler, if you haven't seen The Rock, spoiler, when the guy on the bottom left of your screen, Michael Biehn, who when I thought he would have been in more of the movie, but he gets him and his entire team of Navy SEALs get gunned down in the shower room by the Marines. Ed Harris is there screaming, "Cease fire!
Stop!"
And just like when he cancels the rocket in the last minute. Going back to the beginning of the movie when he's telling the kids, the little girls, to get back on the bus, to get off the island right before they take over. It's just, man, like, what a great villain. And it made me think, like, what are some other great villains in movies? Villains that we understand, we maybe sympathize with, and dare I say, kind of root for? And I came up with this list right here. It's just, now some of these are a far-fetched, they're a stretch, okay? But for the sake of conversation, I want to spend however long we spend just talking about movie villains that we kind of side with. Maybe they could have gone about it a different way, a better way. I mean, they definitely could have gone about it a different way, but do you have any in mind? Because I asked you to think about that.
Yeah, I got 6 here.
Okay.
2 of them are right here on your paper or on your.
Okay, let's start with those 2.
So we started with General Hummel from The Rock, obviously Ed Harris. Everything you said. I mean, he even admitted that he was bluffing. Right, he said he's just what they had the internal argument with him and with David Morse, who played his number 2.
Yeah, his right hand.
Yeah, and even he was kind of conflicted, but he was like, "Listen, we made this choice to make this move. We got to see it through to the end." And Ed Harris is like, "No, I'm not going to kill these people. You think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
The government. I made a threat. The government called our bluff. That's it. We're done." And they're like, "No," So it was really a good scene in that movie. But what he's asking for was right. It's something that's an actual problem in real life. Is the way the government kind of just forgets about these veterans that go to war. Some of them lose their lives, of course. They lose. The ones that don't
the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that survive get to come home. They have injuries, they have missing limbs, and PTSD.
Yep.
All kinds of trauma and stuff that they have to deal with for the rest of their lives and don't get taken care of. which they should be. Veterans should be set for life. They shouldn't have no problems. They shouldn't have any housing issues. There should not be a homeless veteran. I don't want to get political, but veterans should not be.
I think, you know what? I think the whole world is actually with you. This isn't This isn't controversial at all. Like,
it should not be a homeless veteran. No homeless veteran should be.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So let alone, poor or, having trouble trying to pay bills or whatever. But everything should be taken care of. Housing, education, whatever, work. So, and that's what he's trying to do. And yes, he was asking for money, but he wanted money to go to the families.
To the families, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously his guys thought they were mercenaries, which they said. One of them said, we're mercenaries. As soon as we made this decision, we became mercearies. And he's
I think that was Candyman.
Candyman, yeah. Tony Todd. yeah. Exactly right. We're mercenaries, So he was one of the guys I was talking about that was kind of cartoonish, but he was good though. I liked him. But yeah, no, he's a villain. Honestly, I remember sitting in the movie being like, oh wow, okay, I'm with him, and the fact that he didn't want anybody to get hurt. He just wanted the government to do the right thing, and the way just that scene when they had to put down the Navy SEALs, like he was devastated. He was devastated when that happened. Michael Bihn's team, like he did not want that to happen. And so you could tell like his heart was in the right place. Obviously he went about it the wrong way, but so he was one of the first people I thought about.
One other thing I'll add is that the ironic thing is that he ended up making the ultimate sacrifice to undo his mistake.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
He talked about, I think he said 83 Marines weren't even paid benefits. They didn't even get a burial. And now he had to, sacrifice his own life. And, one of the things that you could take away from that's good is that, in the beginning of the movie, he visits, one of the first things he does is visit his wife, who is no longer there, who has moved on. And now he's reunited with her. And I don't know, like, great character, man. Ed Harris, like, he might have, gave a better performance than Sean Connery in that movie. Like, he might have been the best performance.
Yeah, I think I might agree. I think I might be with you on that. Those two definitely have the standouts. But I would give it to him on that. So,
who else you got?
Okay, the other one, right there, bottom in the middle. Actually, I got three guys because obviously the obvious one was Killmonger. We'll get to that later. General Zod.
Nice.
General Zod, just the guy. And now, you know what? Now that I'm looking, I got four. I just noticed you got Magneto up in the top corner. That was my number one. But
I specifically chose Magneto from that scene, which we'll get to.
Yeah, good call.
General Zod. By the way, yesterday was Superman Day, guys.
Yes.
I saw a lot of love out there for the character. It was amazing to see. I saw some love for Man of Steel, which I appreciate. But
of course.
Go ahead, Keith. Michael Shannon's General Zod from Man
General
of Steel.
Zod. Listen, this and specifically, obviously, Michael Shannon's General Zod. Because he's not a maniac like a lot of the other. He's not a criminal like a lot of portrayals of Zod are just he's a crazy criminal guy, which sometimes he can be in some versions, but that's just a full-on evil guy. This guy's not evil at all. He's just a guy just doing his job, doing the thing he was literally born to do, which is protect Krypton, protect the people, preserve their culture, and obviously the stupid Kryptonian council was Jor-El is. I just love all these versions where Jor-El's like the planet's exploding. And they're like, it's bad, don't worry about it. And Jor-El's like, no, the planet's going to explode. It's like, well, we're not worried about that. Don't worry about that. And he's like, okay, okay. And you would think every time I watch it, I'm just like, I kind of just wish Zod and Jor-El would, guys, relax, just talk for a second, just talk. Like they could have worked it out, but what Jor-El's doing, Zod couldn't really get on board, and it's understandable But again, it's just one of those things where he couldn't see past what his job was, which was to basically protect their species, their, like I said, their culture, their people. Jor-El's going to send us the Kryptonian Codex, which has basically all the DNA of all Kryptonians basically in it. Send it to Earth, and Zod's just like, I can't let that happen. And once he's freed, figures out, obviously he gets freed from the Phantom Zone. If you see Man of Steel, I'm not going to recap it, but his speech that he does to Clark, where he's kind of, I don't really understand it fully, but I guess it's kind of a dream sequence, sort of.
Yeah,
but he's actually talking to him, but it's kind of in his head.
It's like
sort
a
of in his head,
nightmare.
but I don't really know.
Nightmare of sorts.
Where
it's like, what could happen, or what will happen to the planet, and nothing you do can stop it,
Stop it, exactly right. Which but you really get a sense of, okay, he's serious about, like, I can't let this. I don't know. It's just, I kind of wonder, in that sense, the fact that he just wants to wipe out this planet Earth to rebuild Krypton. That's where you're kind of like, okay, we can't really. Zod's kind of. That's where the bad Zod kind of comes in. But in that sense, it's kind of like natural selection, where he's exerting his power over this weaker species, and that's where, okay, like, Zod's wrong for that. But his initial motivation of just trying to protect Krypton is not wrong, So in that sense, you definitely, his motivation is fair.
No, I'm with you. Like, one of the first things
he's a little
he says
aggressive
is, very extremely aggressive, like radical, like a radical thinking. He tells the Krypton Council, like, your endless debates have, brought us to, extinction, doom.
Right.
And
right.
I love at the end when he's about to fight Superman, and he says, my sole purpose was to protect and do good, for the greater good of Krypton. You have taken that from me. Now I have no people. And it's like his one purpose was to protect Krypton at all costs and continue ensure it's what's that word I'm looking for? That it continues, and Krypton lasts for generations after.
Right.
And so I agree with you. I think he's one of the best DC villains. I'm not saying DCEU, I'm saying DC villains in live action that we've ever seen.
Agreed.
And I'm with you. I completely understand his motives. Again, and we could say that about a lot of people on here. They could have gone about it a much better way.
Yeah.
But then what's the point of having a good guy, bad guy, antagonist, protagonist? So I love the pick. What else you got?
All right. So another DC villain. DC, like you said, is Bane. Got Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Tom Hardy's Bane.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's Bane, yes.
Okay. Well, he's the only. No, there was one other Bane.
You had to, yes, exactly. Well, Bane. I was really thinking about this one because he's a bad guy. Like, he's a bad guy, but his motivation is I have to watch. Maybe I have to watch it again to really fully. It's tough for me to tell where he's coming from. Like, obviously, and spoiler, to Dark Knight Rises, we've all seen it. So it's me, you, Star Drew, you've seen Dark Knight. So but if you're watching a replay, you haven't seen Dark Knight Rises from 15 years ago or whatever. Spoiler alert. But obviously, he's working for Talia. What turns out to be Talia al Ghul. So he's a hired gun, basically, as it turns out. But the fact that him trying to what he says, liberate Gotham, give it back to the people, his speech is kind of like, okay, I kind of, yeah. Like if he really meant that, it's tough to tell if he did or not. If he really meant what he was saying, you could kind of see where he's coming from.
Right.
He speaks about the corruption within. There you go. Speaks about the corruption within the city, within the government, and within the police, and he's right about all of it. We saw it all happen in The Dark Knight, in the previous film. And so it's tough to tell. Like the way it turned, I kind of wish they hadn't gone that direction where he's just a guy working for Talia al Ghul like that. And I understand there's a whole lot of stuff that went into behind the scenes with that movie with Nolan and studio, and he didn't want to do it and all that stuff. So it probably wasn't fleshed out as well as it could have been if circumstances were different. But he was still a fascinating character, and that speech really made it all like you're kind of looking at him going, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from, So I don't know. What do you think?
Bane is the muscle, Talia is the brains. I hear you, Star Drew. Yeah, I like that. I understand him from this point. Okay, well, and I wonder what would have happened if his henchmen never would have caught Commissioner Gordon and gotten a hold of the letter that pretty much explains everything.
Right.
Like, what are you doing still holding on to that, Commissioner Gordon?
I know, right?
I like the ceremony to honor Harvey Dent happened in the morning, and by nighttime he's out there fighting crime, responding to calls, and it's like, what? Why is that still in your jacket? Right. Like,
right.
I guess there's no other safe place, I guess, but it just makes me wonder. Like, okay, I understand what he wanted to do as far as exposing, the lie about Harvey Dent and how, all those criminals who were arrested happened under Harvey Dent's watch, but Harvey Dent was doing criminal things himself. It's like there's totally a legal issue going on there. And I understand that he wants to redeem what Batman did to Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's al Ghul was the one who I believe saved him, right, and took him into the League of Shadows, and Batman destroyed the League of Shadows in Batman Begins. So I understand.
I hate the League of Shadows. I still don't. That's one of the few things I don't like about Batman Begins. League of Shadows.
You don't like the whole League of Shadows sub?
I just hate the name. They changed it from League of Assassins to League of Shadows. I've never liked it.
Yeah.
That's no big deal. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. So I understand where he's coming from that standpoint, but yeah, other than that, I mean, just you put a bomb in Gotham, and then what? You sit around for 7 months or 8 months, and then wait for it to blow up.
Yeah. It's an odd.
I just thought. I mean, I think I've said this before, but if not, I'll say it now. Christopher Nolan, his heart was out of the franchise the moment Heath Ledger passed away. He didn't want to go near it and do a third one, but he was contractually obligated to do it. And I think he just put together the best thing that he possibly could. And I mean, given his state of mind, and I mean, half of the cast is from Inception.
Exactly.
He just said, "Okay, all of you're gonna get in this movie. I don't want to, but
And considering that, honestly, the fact that like coming right off Inception, the fact that he didn't want to do it, like he gave it it's better than it could have been, And certainly, I'm glad that he did it and they didn't give it to somebody else,
Right.
So he gave it. He's a good director. He wasn't going to half-ass it. Like he did a good, But yeah, you could tell exactly. You hit it right on the head. You could tell his heart wasn't fully in it, but he gave it a go. But yeah. I love Bane though. I love that character, Bane. Tom Hardy's
Bane. Yeah. I want to see Dave Bautista play Bane. I want to see what he can do with that
Mm.
role. He, especially after watching Blade Runner 2049 this
Oh yeah, right.
past week, and seeing his dedication to his range and craft as an actor, I'd be curious to see what he would do. I doubt it ever happens, but
It's interesting.
what can we do? What can we do with Warner Brothers? Right.
But yeah, second Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So, and you said you had Magneto, right?
Magneto, yes.
Man,
Yeah,
dude.
that's my number one. He's my favorite, one of my favorite comic characters. Period. Probably top 2 or 3. Him and Batman. Just fascinating. I know Stan Lee said at some point. I remember him saying he was loosely based on Malcolm X when he created the character.
Yeah.
And yeah, which yes, and if you listen to Magneto and the way he's portrayed, obviously, and I was thinking of Ian McKellen, but when I just looked at your image here, and oh yeah, I keep forgetting about Fassbender, but both of them, but portrayed brilliantly by both actors, absolutely, first class. Yeah, that might be one of my favorites portrayals of his actually.
What a surprise, man! Yeah.
Yeah, he's great, and he's one of those guys that just I'm trying to keep it to the movies, the movie versions, but he's one of those guys that he's fully in. When you know that about him, that he's kind of based on Malcolm X, it kind of makes sense where he's fully like the by any means necessary, like that's kind of his mentality. Listen, I like characters
versus them.
Yeah, just protecting mutant kind, sort of like Zod a little bit. But and if I have to, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want equality. I want us to be able to live, And we sometimes have to make the first move because they're going to do it to us, And so I can see that. I can kind of see that. I'm not saying that I'm not, I'm not all for hit first, strike first, but I can see where Magneto's coming from. So, and I always one of my favorite things in any fiction, any pop culture, is the dynamic between he and Charles Xavier. They're such good friends, and they see eye to eye on so many things, but just not on this. And they basically go to war over it often, which is exactly what neither of them really wants. But it's just that speech at the end of the first X-Men movie they have, where it's just like the war is coming, Charles. I'm going to fight it by any means necessary. He even says, by any means necessary. Charles is like, and I'll be right there to stop you, old friend. That's their relationship. But, Magneto doesn't want. He even gets upset. He got upset when mutants die. Like he doesn't want to hurt any mutants necessarily. He will if he has to, but he doesn't want that to happen. It's when the government gives him, I think, what's the last one called? Phoenix. Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. They give him his island nation, which they do in the comics, Genosha. I don't know if they called it that in that movie, but
I don't remember. Yeah.
But that's all he wants, and just live there. Peace. Leave us alone. I'll leave you alone. That's kind of a deal he makes with the government. And that's basically it. But I love Magneto. And Fassbender and McKellen are both just excellent portrayals of both. And he's a fascinating character. I love him.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, man. Like Magneto as a concept, just a human. He wasn't asked to be born mutant.
Right.
Okay, nobody is asked to be born a mutant. And then to have his, parents taken away and the
Holocaust survivor. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Yeah, Holocaust survivor, excuse me.
Right.
And his parents get killed in front of him, if not taken away at a young age. He sees the darkest side of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Apocalypse here, he goes on his own, small town, has a family, not causing any trouble, and somebody at the factory opens their mouth.
Ugh, that's so. Oh man.
And then next thing you know, he's in the woods, and both his wife and his daughter die. The best arc of X-Men Apocalypse was Magneto's arc.
Yeah.
By far. But I completely get it. Human beings, look, okay, we're a lot of things, okay? And one of it is just we're complicated, we're sometimes not very kind to each other.
Yeah.
And you can just imagine mutants in today's world. Like, can you imagine that, dude? Like,
Oh my goodness.
imagine a mutant having TikTok, doing all these fancy things with their powers, and having millions of subscribers.
It'd be like
You would have kids being like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" You know, and this and that. It's just, it would be.
what's her
frowned
name? What's her name on The Boys? The Boys. What's the character that had all the Stormfront? Stormfront.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stormfront from The Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, we have. How's it going, Chris? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Yeah, well, sort of. We'll get to Killmonger. We'll talk about Killmonger. We're gonna finish up Magneto here. Magneto as a villain that we understand, we kind of agree with, although they could have gone about it a much better way.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love Magneto, man. Say what you will about, you know, the X-Men movies, whichever ones you don't like. Every time Magneto is on screen, whether it's Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
It is great stuff. Yeah. You know what? I want to quickly comment on Emotep. Okay, this is a little bit of a stretch. Okay, this is when we get into a little bit of a stretch here. But if you think about it, the guy from The Mummy, what happens in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
He falls in love. It's a forbidden love.
Well,
Sort of, right? It's the Pharaoh, right? It's the
Pharaoh's wife.
Pharaoh's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they fall in love.
Yeah.
He gets captured when they try to, you know, run off together, not causing any trouble. They just want to run off together and be with each other, right? How romantic.
Yeah.
But then he gets caught. He gets a huge curse placed on him. He gets his tongue cut, and then he goes into a tomb with a whole bunch of the insects that eat. Remember those disgusting insects in The Mummy?
Yeah, those beetles.
And then he comes back. He comes back later after humans, you know, do what they're told they shouldn't do. They do it anyway. They bring him
Read the
back.
book. Yeah.
Yeah. Read the Book of the Dead.
Right.
And they bring him back. All he's trying to do is resurrect his wife.
Right.
Or not his wife, his dearly beloved.
Yeah.
And people get in the way of doing that. People were like, no, go back in your tomb. Stay in your lane. Go back. I don't care what happened to you.
I mean, he's bringing all these plagues onto the world, though, in the process.
Yeah. So I kind of.
But yeah.
I don't know. In a sense, I kind of root for Emotep in the sense that, you know, go with the person you've fallen in love with and go off. You two mind your own business and do your own thing. But he could have gone about it in a much better way, you know.
Hey, they put that curse on him. He didn't ask for that.
Yeah, he did.
So,
Again, he
so I
didn't
see what
ask
you're
for
saying.
it, you know?
Yeah, I see what you're
And
saying.
then what happens at the end of Mummy Returns, the second one? She ends up leaving him anyway.
I don't even remember.
Remember?
No.
Him and Brendan Fraser are hanging off a cliff in Mummy Returns. They're trying to be dragged down, and Rachel Weisz goes to help Brendan Fraser, and then Anaxunamu, he calls for her, and she runs away,
I don't remember that.
and he's heartbroken. So instead of unleashing hell on Earth, he just dies.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Wow.
You don't remember? Well, I mean,
I saw it the one time.
movie,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But that's enough about Emotep. Let's get to Killmonger. Black Panther's Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, one of the best MCU villains. The Marvel Cinematic Universe had a problem for a while with their villains. But man, they knocked it out of the park with Killmonger. Go ahead and talk about him.
Well, let's just say right out of the gate, look, he's wrong, okay, in that he does a lot of, and a lot of it is just a product of how he was raised, the person he wound up growing up to be. I mean, he's, killed, like you said, killed so many people to get to this point, but he does a lot of problematic things. The way he kind of treats some of the women when he gets to Wakanda. He's very aggressive, obviously, but he was colored by the way, like, what happened to his father. Obviously, growing up in Oakland already, that's already a tough thing.
Oh yeah.
But then losing his father. What happened to his mother? Do you remember what they said about what happened to his mother? I don't even.
I
don't remember.
I don't know if they touched on it.
Yeah. Obviously, she's from there.
In the chat, if you can remember, did they say anything about Eric Killmonger's mother?
Yeah, I think she was from Oakland, which is why he was there. But I don't remember. I don't remember what they said actually what happened to her. But yeah. And he's on a revenge mission, basically, for the rest of his life. And he did whatever he had to do to get there, and get back there, avenge the fact that his father and claim that throne, which is rightfully his, technically, obviously, his father being the older brother, and him, of course, being the next in line. And so in that sense, he's absolutely right, and. They even admit it. Obviously, T'Challa admits it. Like, we should not have abandoned this child. All that stuff. Like, they turned their back on him. And that's a mistake that his father T'Chaka made, and the next generation was having to pay for it. And he's a problem that he was having to deal with, and so it's all right there. And then obviously his motivations of he had the I was going to say luxury, not luxury, but he grew up in Oakland. He's able to see both sides of seeing how Black people are living all around the world, knowing what Wakanda is, and seeing how the rest of the world is. He's like, this isn't right. Like, why are we not sharing what we have with the rest of the world? We don't have to be the way we are. Black and brown people all around the world don't have to be like this. You guys got enough. Like he said, we got enough power to liberate them all, liberate everyone. Why are we sitting on, it's kind of selfish what we're doing here. And so in that sense, he's absolutely right. I think you and I were sitting next to each other when we went and saw this, and we both leaned over like, I agree with him, like, so it's hard not to. But obviously, actions he takes and some of his, like I said, some of the ways he treats a lot of people once he does become king, it's like it's quite problematic, and you're like, okay, you can't fully get on board, because his name is, they nicknamed him Killmonger for a reason, so he's a very he's a tough guy to fully get behind, but his motivation and his origin. You look back at his origin, he's definitely a sympathetic character, and it's hard not to see his side of the situation. So.
I'm with you, man. Again, it's like he goes to Wakanda, and it's more than he was maybe imagining or was told. Mm-hmm. Like, it's such an advanced. It's Wakanda. It's an advanced society.
Yeah. And
he's like, you guys are just sitting here looking after yourselves. Again, Killmonger. He's like, you guys are sitting here just looking after yourselves. Meanwhile, our people all over the world are being mistreated. Mm-hmm. They're being, bullied and just, not treated very well. What the hell? Yeah. And it changes T'Challa as a character. the Black Panther. Because at the end, he's like, Wakanda now opens its doors. They're fully capable of defending themselves. What's the U.S. government going to do?
Right.
No Stark Industries weapon is going to touch Wakanda. We saw in Infinity War all the aliens try to, invade Wakanda. It was only when they opened the door that they finally let the shields down. And so, excuse me, Eric Killmonger, he's like, come on, guys, what are you doing? Seriously? And I love that about him. And he doesn't sell out. He doesn't. By the end, he's bleeding out, and he says something along the lines of, when I die, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors, because they too knew that death was better than bondage or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's that line that, wow,
Jumping
like
ships.
elevated him, because he's like, I'd rather die than sit in a Wakanda prison. And like that's psychological torture right there for him,
Yeah.
If he really believes in what he believes in, how things should be done,
Yeah.
he's gonna go out like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Gabe, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, Gabe?
Yo, boys, hope all is well. I see we're talking Black Panther. Have any potential details for released about the? They are being very secretive with that.
Yeah.
Wakanda
Forever. It's the title. We know that.
The title is Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
We know that they're not going to recast T'Challa.
Yeah.
Nor are they going to CGI him.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
What, Star Drew? I'm curious about that. I don't know.
Well, I said this on Apocalypse. I said, hey, look, the multiverse is happening, right? What if in an alternate universe, Wakanda was destroyed and Michael B. Jordan was the king of that Wakanda? And he comes to the main MCU timeline and he sees this beautiful Wakanda living peacefully, unfortunately without its king, because we know why. And that could be a way of him saying, there's nothing left for me in that other world. If you'll have me here, I'll be here, and I'll be whatever Wakanda needs me to be.
Yeah.
Boom.
There could easily be an alternate timeline, or where, because he was rightfully the heir to the throne, so there could be timelines where he is the king of Wakanda. So yeah, that's not far-fetched at all. Not at all.
Hey,
I don't know.
All right. So, any more villains you want to mention?
Okay, I got one more quick one. This is kind of a crazy one, if you think about it. I got the machines from the Matrix.
Whoa.
So listen.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you ever watch any of the?
Any of the what?
The Animatrix. You ever watch any of those anime shorts?
I have not.
Oh, okay. To kind of
Go
you
ahead.
kind of sort of have to
give us a brief summary of it.
Okay, well, there's two really good ones. I can't remember. There's a part 1 and a part 2. You can probably look them up on YouTube, or I'm sure they're, I don't know, but they're available somewhere. But where it talks about the origin, how everything happened, the war, the humans created artificial intelligence. It basically led to, obviously, you got robots who live and work, and they do jobs, or they do housekeeping, or they do labor work, or they're drivers or restaurant workers, all that stuff. Everything you saw in the movie I, Robot. All those robots were doing all the labor work and doing all kinds of different jobs, some menial jobs, whatever. I think one of them accidentally, killed its master, or or it was defending itself in some manner. I can't remember fully which, but basically led this robot got put on trial. Basically led to all the hard laws against robots and artificial intelligence, and they were all rounded up and enslaved and kind of like sort of like concentration camps, sort of like what we saw in World War II. And the machines basically were given, to make it kind of long story shorter, they were given their own island nation to live on, and they were trying to, and that island nation, they were trying to join the United Nations. The United Nations kept turning them down. That nation, the machine nation, basically what became the new global superpower. And like every other economy in the world was crashing, and this one was going through the roof. Like they had all that. They were the top dog on earth, and they were like, "Hey, we want to share everything we do with the rest of humanity, or with humanity." Like and humankind was like, "No, we don't like you." They decided to attack the machine, the machine nation. The machine nation fought back, and all of a sudden the world just went to war. Human beings decided to black out the sky for some reason, thinking that they could get rid of them, that's the storyline you hear about in The Matrix. And of course, that was a dumb idea. Went horribly wrong for the rest of us. Machines basically just took over, destroyed humankind and took over the world. And then they created the Matrix to keep human beings in check, basically, as they figured out they could use us since we didn't have a sun. So they figured out they can use human beings for power. So that's essentially what happened. But none of that would have happened to turn a human being into that. Exactly right.
To a battery.
To a battery. But it all happened just because human beings were just war-mongering animals who couldn't deal with the fact that their own creation, which is artificial intelligence, which they created, it was their downfall. If they would have just worked with the machines, the world could have been thriving. That's what they wanted. But I don't know if it's ego threatened. I don't know. The machines, they attacked. The humans struck first. Morpheus said in the movie, we don't know who struck first, us or them. Well, it was us. Attacked that island nation, machine nation, and so they were just defending themselves. They didn't want to live in harmony. They said that we sort of live in harmony with people, and people didn't want to do it. So human beings were the architects of their own destruction. That's a lot of cases in a lot of these stories. So, but the machines were not wrong. They were just defending themselves. So now they just go around the world trying to destroy what's left and then harvest human beings for power. But kind of it's a weird one. It's an odd choice in here, but the story of how it all happened. It's kind of like, oh, okay, that sucks. That's a terrible reality, and it's all humans' fault. So,
damn. Do we know if the Animatrix was a hit in
They released one of them, a really good one, before. They released it before this movie called I can't remember. It was a Stephen King movie. And a lot of people, it played before that movie, so it was one of those things where people they bought tickets for that movie, they watched that Animatrix short, and then they left. But the rest of them, I think I bought it on DVD.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah. I bought it on DVD. That's how I watched it. But I don't know if that ever. I know Keanu Reeves voiced one of them. Did a voice in one of them. They're all it's all a bunch of anime shorts. I think there's like 7 of them, maybe.
Yeah.
And it does a good job of telling different stories of how the world kind of got where it is, and some of the characters and how they got there. But it would have been cool to actually see in a movie. I don't know if the Wachowskis ever, thought about any of that. But this story that tells the story of like how it all happened, it's really, really good. It's very fascinating, and it's terrible. It's just like, oh, that's all awful. And it kind of feels like this is what would happen if we ever invented artificial intelligence and they became sentient almost, and like we would attack them. Because it's like, well, we invented it. Like, why are you attacking this thing? I don't know. So, but it's good. It's really good.
Wow.
Can't wait for the Matrix 4.
Really? Wow. I wasn't expecting you to say that. Okay. Well, let's see here. We'll wrap this conversation up. I'll quickly mention guy on the top center, not Mike Bannon. Man, what's his name? Anyways, Gerard Butler from Law Abiding Citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good. I like his villain.
Yeah.
His character. The guy on the bottom right, Morgan Freeman.
What's
I
that
don't
from?
want to spoil. It's from the movie Gone Baby Gone.
Oh, I never watched all of that. I didn't finish that movie. I never really.
Okay. Well, it's a great movie. You
Okay.
should definitely check it out.
Ben Affleck,
And
director.
U.S. Agent. Look, I talk about U.S. Agent whenever I get the chance. Okay, like, come on now. This guy was picked by the government to don this suit and be their new Captain America. Tries to help Falcon and Bucky, Sam and Bucky. They say no. We'll do it our way. And it just drives him crazy because he wants to take down these terrorists. He does, and the moment he does, the government basically disowns him, strips him of his benefits, and all that. So, U.S. Agent for me is a strong villain and one that I kind of agree with. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. Who are some villains? I know Star Drew said John Travolta from Broken Arrow.
I don't fully remember. It's so
I
long
don't
since I've
remember.
seen it.
Yeah, I love Broken Arrow. It's been a minute since I've seen Broken Arrow, but John Travolta's good in that movie. I don't remember what his motives are, though.
I don't either. Yeah, it's been 25 years since I saw that movie.
Let's see here. First locates. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to look into it. And off time, I'm gonna. You guys are gonna end up sitting here watching me read for 3 minutes, and I don't want to do that. But John Travolta, I will say, is very good at playing a bad guy. Yes, he is.
Oh yeah,
He says he has more fun playing a bad guy too. So
taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
What?
Oh, I was gonna say taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. He's awesome in that.
Have
you seen
I think I've seen that.
It's so good. If you haven't seen it, you got it.
No, really I think I've seen that. I don't remember too much of the movie, but yeah,
he's great in that.
He's pretty good in that. Yeah.
You had an interesting one. I know we're gonna wrap it up, but because I'll talk about this one forever. I noticed you had Michael Corleone on there.
Is he not a bad guy?
No, he's a very bad guy.
I was gonna say you had me worried there. Like,
well, no, I'm just wondering what is it that you kind of agree with him on? Because he's
to be honest, I put him on the list because I was wondering if there was a conversation to be had about Michael Corleone and his portrayal. I mean, guy ends up killing his brother.
Absolutely.
But what did his brother do? That's the question.
That is fair. That is fair, but you can also make the argument, and I would say that though, it's because of his brother, and his brother is a screw up, no question.
Total screw up, man.
But Michael Corleone is very much a sociopath who kind of helped put his brother on that path by treating him the way he did. Because he treated everybody. He mistreated his wife. He mistreated Tom Hagen. He missed everybody. He treated everybody just terribly. Like I don't know. That's an interesting discussion. We'll have to jump into that another time. Fascinating character though.
All right, let's get to some news. Let's talk some news real quick. Indiana Jones 5. But before we get to Indiana Jones 5, there is something that I feel I must do. I usually am a strong I'm a person with pretty strong convictions. But every now and then, I say something that maybe was a little bit too extreme. And I want to take a moment to retract something that I said a couple weeks ago about Indiana Jones 5. Here's the tape. He's going to be 79 while this movie's in production. He's turning 79. Anybody who's saying they're excited because of Harrison Ford is probably lying to themselves. It's James Mangold. Because if you thought Harrison Ford's and his attempts at doing action was noticeable in 2009's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, how about almost 15 years later? So I still feel the same way to an extent. I'm very curious how a 79-year-old Harrison Ford is going to pull off playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I need to see a trailer. But what I retract is me trying to tell other people how they feel. I think you are entitled to your own opinions. Who the hell am I to say what makes you happy or what makes you mad? That is up to you. And I just want to take a moment. I don't do this very often to retract that in case Jake ever watches this, because I know he was like in the chat, like back during that episode about so I'm lying to myself because I'm excited about Indiana Jones 5. So I just wanted to take a moment and do that before we talk about Indy 5, because some set photos have emerged online that give us more clues about what we're in for with this 5th installment. And here are some set photos right here.
Oh.
And if you see on the top left, James Mangold confirms that
Fighting Nazis again.
this movie will be set, at least according to the tweet and the rumors I'm about to read, set in the 60s. So some rumors. Actually, before we do that, I got one more image I want to show you. So yeah, you see the Nazis right there. It confirmed Nazis will be a part of Indiana Jones 5. Here's Harrison on set.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're thinking on the bottom right photo that Indiana Jones dies, gets his head cut off, that's not the case. That is simply a mask.
Yeah.
A stunt double who will do some stunt work for Harrison Ford.
Interesting.
In action sequences. But the movie is currently in production right now. And there's a great cast. Great cast that is going to be in this movie. Let me bring up this graphic right here. How excited are you for Indy 5, if at all?
Well, I am, but only because of James Mangold.
Yeah.
So I'm a James Mangold guy. So yeah, good looking cat. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, love her. Obviously, Mads Mikkelsen. If he's not the villain, I can't. I don't even know what's going on. If he's not, he's clearly going to be the villain.
According to the rumors, Mads Mikkelsen is the main villain, a former scientist of the Nazi regime, who's now recruited by the U.S. for the moon landing initiative.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Rumor. That's a rumor. Um, more rumors. It's set in the latter half of the 60s in New York City, roughly a decade after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was set in 1957. And so roughly a decade later, you got to think maybe 65, 66.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Stardew says, "Who's the white lady?" That is Phoebe Waller
Bridge. Yeah.
Apparently, she was in Solo.
She's the droid L7 in Solo.
Yeah, I've seen the movie once. I clearly need to watch it again because it keeps popping up in conversations that we have about Apocalypse or apparently now on Fandom United. So I should probably give that another watch. But other rumors. Let's see. Shawnette Renee Wilson, the second to the left, right next to Mads Mikkelsen. She is reportedly playing a CIA handler who is tasked to babysit Mikkelsen's character. Again, Mads Mikkelsen was recruited by the U.S. for the moon landing initiative.
Oh, okay.
And Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character could possibly be... So there's a character that's described as evil and a brutal killer, a female evil, brutal killer. That could be Phoebe Waller's character.
Yeah.
But not entirely confirmed. These are all rumors.
Right.
And there will be a release date. The release date is July 29, 2022, the same day as Black Adam.
Oh, all right.
Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. So one of them is going to blink.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
But Keith, how do you feel about these set photos? Seeing Harrison Ford at 79 years old,
well,
in the outfit, fedora hat, one more time. What do you think?
Well, he is definitely doing it. So, all right. I don't know. He's very old. I'm not being ageist. I'm just thinking he's very old to still be doing Indiana Jones. So I'm curious about where the story is going to go. But it's cool. Yes, I'm not against it at all. And it's like you said, it's James Mangold, so I'm a James Mangold guy, so I'm in. You know, I like the cast. It's a great looking cast. Got a bunch of people in there that we like. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's see an updated '60s version of Indiana Jones. That's going to be interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Like, what would he be like? What does this have to do with archaeology? And him, like, I don't know. Like, you think at this point in the '60s, he's just being a professor at whatever college he's at, and but I don't know. Let's see what's happening.
You know, Stardew, it's interesting that you bring this up because noticeably missing from this casting sheet call are these three.
All right.
One of
Sala.
them are, Sala has been and I don't understand why he wasn't in the movie. Like, why him? Well, why not him over Ray Winstone? As good as Ray Winstone was in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, as Mac, Indy's the guy who kept turning on Indy throughout the movie. And then you have Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen, who at the end of Crystal Skull, they got married.
Yeah.
Which I thought one of the best things about Crystal Skull was the fact that they finally brought her back after 2 movies.
Right.
You know, she was in Raiders. She wasn't in Temple of Doom because that was a prequel. And she wasn't in Last Crusade.
Right.
So they finally brought her back. And then you have Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf, his on-screen son. Say what you will about Shia LaBeouf. Since then, he's definitely grown as an actor. I think he's grown as a human being. He said some messed up stuff to Steven Spielberg and to the movie that he was a part of.
Yeah.
But he did retract those and deeply regrets it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, does Shia LaBeouf have a place in this franchise? Or should they just kill him off screen?
Yeah, I think that's past. I think that season's past for him.
Yeah.
So I won't be totally surprised to see him, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know.
Speaking of Indiana Jones, yesterday was the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And if you have any comments, Keith, on Raiders of the Lost Ark or the Indiana Jones franchise on the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark, maybe, I don't know if you saw Raiders of the Lost Ark either in theaters or at, I don't know, home.
I'm not that old. I think I was
Raiders. Sorry.
I was like 2 when that came out or something. No, I think I was, was 80.
You could have went to the theaters. You could have went to the theaters and saw
it.
it.
Yeah, that's true. Probably. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. My parents love Indiana Jones, so it's possible. Was it? I think it was 80 or 81, 80 or 81, something like that.
I think it was 80. Let me look. I think it was 81.
Yeah. So I was
81 because it's the 40th anniversary. Yeah.
40. Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, I was 2. Yeah, I was 2 years old. So it's. I got the DVD collection of all 4 of these, and maybe like 2 years ago. I hadn't seen. My favorite one is Last Crusade. That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Period.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That was 89. Did you go to theaters and watch that one?
Saw it twice in the theater. It came out, I think, a month before Tim Burton Batman came out. So it was a good summer. 89. But Last Crusade. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is. I watched it. Like when I bought the box set about 2 years ago. It's one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's so good, so good. It's tough to. I wouldn't argue with anybody that would pick it as their favorite Indiana Jones. Like I said, for me, it's Last Crusade, but I totally get it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's great. It's really great. I think there's better character stuff in Last Crusade. It's probably why a little bit more depth to the characters in Last Crusade, in my opinion. That's why it works more for me. But it's a full-on fun action summer blockbuster with this character that you really root for. I mean, this is Raiders of the Lost Ark is it, man. And this is what made Harrison Ford a mega star. I mean, coming off of obviously A New Hope, Star Wars, and then I think Blade Runner in '78, and then this. I mean, this one just catapulted him into the stratosphere, man. So, and then Empire. Empire was in '80, so actually Empire Strikes Back was right before this. So, man, yeah, he's a massive star at the time.
Yeah, Blade Runner was 82.
Oh, was it 82? Okay. Oh, I thought it was 78. What am I thinking of? Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought Blade Runner was before. Okay.
I think American Graffiti was 70.
Yeah, that was around 70 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
But man, dude, I would love to I doubt this will happen on Apocalypse, but like on a Saturday, just have a watch along marathon of all the Indy movies leading up to the 5th one. You know,
that would be fun. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe each week leading up to. You know, like each week leading up to the new one. Yeah, revisit that idea. That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
One can dream. But okay, some other things to get through before we wrap it up here. Jurassic World Dominion. There will be a 5-minute preview during Fast 9, the IMAX. And director Colin Trevorrow has said don't expect a trailer anytime soon. So if you want a first look, you got to watch Fast 9 in IMAX. They did release some photos online. First one shows the Velociraptor. And if you look, there's feathers.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now it's becoming more in line of what a Velociraptor really looked like.
Yeah.
Apparently, it looked more like a turkey, and it had
the size of a turkey.
feathers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's the original cast, right there.
Oh,
confirmed that once again,
cool.
And there was a lovely tribute to Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
Yep, who was the creator of the first park in the first movie. And then there is a teaser poster. Experience a special extended preview of Jurassic World Dominion with Fast 9 only in IMAX. So if you're gonna watch the movie anyway, might as well get the 5-minute preview to go along with it. And the director revealed that the 3 original, the OGs, they won't just be making a cameo. Apparently, they have a big role. It's as big as Chris Pratt and Dallas Bryce Howard's, which kind of makes sense. I mean, the dinosaurs are now they're running loose. Last we saw them in Fallen Kingdom, they were all released. They were all about to die before the little girl pressed the button and opened the doors, and the dinosaurs all ran out. Then we saw a montage of like one dinosaur like coming up on a surfer during he was riding a big wave, and then there was another one where the lion was at the zoo, and then a T-Rex showed up. So they're out there in the world. It makes sense to bring the original 3 back because they handled dinosaurs before. Now the dinosaurs are in their backyard.
Yeah.
So I love that. Your reaction to any of this Jurassic World Dominion? Do you have an opinion?
Not really. I didn't see the second Jurassic World.
Fallen
the first
Kingdom?
one. Yeah, I didn't see it. The first one, I seen some of it. Didn't really catch my interest, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't see it. Yeah, the first one's fine. It's it's Jurassic Park again. So I didn't dislike it. I just didn't stick for me. So but I'm interested in this one. It's got obviously they're doing that thing Hollywood keeps doing where they're bringing back the original cast. So I do love all 3 of them. So I'll probably see this. I'm not going to see it, but I'll probably actually go to the theater to see it just out of curiosity. So in that sense, I'll definitely give it a shot. And I like Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah, I mean, like Jurassic World is fine. It's entertaining. I think what makes it entertaining is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Is some of the new ideas they bring as far as, how he's able to control the Velociraptors, Blue in particular. I do like the updated look of the island and how it's like, presented to a new generation.
Yeah.
Other than that, though,
yeah.
Look, I get I'm all for female empowerment and this and that, but when you got Bryce Dallas Howard running in high heels away from a T-Rex, I was just like, this ain't it. Take it for what it is. Okay, I'm a guy. I know. Take it for what it is. I'm not against female empowerment, but it's just like, ooh. Yeah, I mean, like, look, if you're gonna do the nostalgia thing and put Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas with these 3, why not? And it made me think, like, why is it? I'm not saying it's perfect, but why is it that the Jurassic franchise can give us humans that we're actually interested in or care about, but like Godzilla or the MonsterVerse, they struggle with that hard. Like, what is it about the Jurassic Park movies that make the human characters interesting as opposed to like Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla King of the Monsters or even the first Godzilla? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get it. I was just thinking about
I
that
don't
the
know.
other
That's
day.
a tough.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Jurassic-
It's tough for that balance. I know people are like, "Well, I don't care about the. I just care about the monsters." Well, but you gotta kind of care about the people. Like there has to be a story to be interested in. Like
yeah,
otherwise, you can just make the whole movie like the Godzilla. Like you just make the whole movie Godzilla and the Kong just fighting each other, and that's okay. It's fine, but you can't do that for 2 hours. Like you gotta have an angle, story, So I don't know. There's some people that is maybe they do want to see that for 2 hours, just dinosaurs and I don't know, but yeah. So that's good. Yeah, it's tough to find that balance. So I don't know.
James Wan was on social media and revealed the title for Aquaman sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Right.
No other details except for the it will apparently be darker, this one. And I was surprised how light the first Aquaman movie was, especially when you hear James Wan's comments back in 2017.
No, I mean, Aquaman is such an amazing character. I love the fact that he's never really been portrayed in the feature movie world before, and on the screen of any kind, and the opportunity to explore this universe, bring a bit of my horror element into this, the deep sea, the scary world, and then also explore the wondrous element of Atlantis. That's all I have to say.
The only scary thing about the first Aquaman was the trench sequence. Other than that, it was pretty heavy on humor and like fun. From what I've heard, and there's nothing wrong with, we talked about this last week with fun and humor. But from what I've heard, this next one will be darker. Makes sense, Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 was a bit darker. The X-Men movies, the second one was a bit darker. Yeah. Hell, The Dark Knight, the second movie in the trilogy was darker. Thor: The Dark World, I can go on and on and on. Your immediate reaction to the title and the Lost Kingdom?
I don't know. I don't know what it means, but.
Well, I was talking with Jake about this. The title and the Lost Kingdom,
right,
refers to a seventh kingdom.
Oh,
that we never saw in Aquaman.
Okay.
I've heard that it could be the unseen, or there's multiple choices, but yeah, not much details. I mean, I like it more than Aquaman 2,
Yeah, definitely. I really wish they would. It doesn't seem likely we'll get this in Flashpoint, but I wish they would do some stuff, build up to this war, the Amazonian Atlantean war, man. I think that would be really good. They probably won't do that, but I don't know. I wish they'd build to that. Probably never.
You, man. I'm sure Zack Snyder had some ideas about that before they completely abandoned the 5-film arc, the major arc with the solo movies in between. But hey, we'll find out more information. So Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the official title. And I'm very excited. I thought the first one highly rewatchable, a lot of fun, and Jason Momoa is just excellent as Arthur Curry.
Yeah, he is.
Some other things before we wrap it up. There is a new cut of Rocky IV coming. Rocky IV, the director's cut.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
In theaters and on 4K November 11th. Not much is known. as far as what differs, except you remember that robot that was Polly's gift
Yeah,
in the movie?
they're
That
cutting it out, right?
that robot will not be in there.
Yeah.
Um, hey, look, if it means we're getting more of Apollo Creed before he dies, I'm for it. If we get
Yeah.
a longer fight sequence that's a little bit more violent,
Hmm.
not as far as Apollo Creed goes, but Rocky versus Drago, I'm for it. Or to maybe see a little bit more of Dolph Lundgren's character and see more of his how he handles all the pressure of Russia, the entire country on him. Like maybe some slower scenes, like where he's like, I don't know, trying to deal with all that pressure. Is there anything that you would want to see from this director's cut?
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. I don't know what. Yes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Um, Rocky Four. What people look? People love Rocky Four. I saw it in the theater. I love Rocky Four. I get it. It's the nostalgia, but it's very 80s. Super. It's a music video. It's a bunch of montages. It's a bunch of. It's a little bit campier than what's going on. How's Leroy? I don't know. I don't know, but I'd like to see a more serious take on it. And if that's what Stallone's doing, I'm in. I definitely want to see this. I'm gonna definitely check it out. But.
Yeah, I think Rocky 4 heavily focused on Stallone and his side. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of Drago, especially after what we saw in Creed 2.
Creed 2, it's not exactly.
If you remember in Creed 2, maybe the best scene is when Drago is sitting down next to Rocky. They're face to face, and
Dolph Lundgren,
who is pretty damn good in that scene as an actor, he says, I lost everything.
He was disgraced.
I was disgraced in Russia after that fight.
Yeah.
I would love to see a little bit of behind the scenes of that. Maybe not, because I don't know if they would have filmed more, but leading up to it, like all the politics behind Drago and him being the face of Russia.
Right.
Of course, we're gonna see Apollo Creed's death in 4K, which I don't know. That fight still disturbs me to this day, because it's a lot of buildup. It's a lot of excitement. You got James Brown like performing live, living in America, and Apollo Creed dancing and whatnot. And he's all confident until he touches gloves with Drago, and Drago's like, I must break you. And it's like, oh, man, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And would you agree that other than the first Rocky movie, Rocky 4 is the most important one because it sets up Creed, because of the ramifications that happen in Rocky 5 with the brain trauma?
Because of Creed, it became important.
Yeah.
Prior to Creed, I would have not necessarily. I would have Rocky, the first one, and then probably Rocky Balboa,
where he does one more fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I know people think is kind of ridiculous. Rocky Balboa is really good. I don't know what.
I love Rocky Balboa, the last one.
Yeah, me too. It's really good. But yeah, I definitely going kind of retroactively. Yeah, Creed definitely reached back and went, oh, okay. So it added a little more depth to what happened with Apollo. Made it that much more tragic for both characters, for both Creed, for both Rocky and Adonis. So I think I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And maybe there's something. I doubt it. Obviously, Adonis was a product of an affair that Apollo was probably having, or was obviously having. So I don't know. Maybe we see some more backstory with him. Like we didn't
Leroy
really
is so correct on this point right here. Apollo was not properly trained for Drago, and
No, he wasn't taking it seriously.
Rocky even warned him, like in the dressing room before he went out. He was like, "Hey, man, look, I don't know about this. We need to like, maybe postpone the fight, get some more training." And he's like, "Nah, man, I'm in the best shape of my life. Come on, man."
Yep.
He's just like, "Oh, man." And then so
it was an exhibition. He's like, "It's an exhibition. We're just gonna go out there and kind of punch a little bit, and then that's it." He thought he was gonna just be a cakewalk. Yeah, no. Drago wasn't playing around, man. He was taking that seriously. So.
I think Apollo from the first movie could probably take on Drago.
Definitely.
I mean, that was what, like from 1 to 4. How much time passed? Like 5, 6 years?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years.
If it's Apollo from the first movie, he stands a much better chance against Drago.
That's interesting because he didn't even want to fight. He didn't think he could fight Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. That's why he wanted Rocky to fight him and beat him. So it's weird that he thought he could beat this guy. He didn't think he could beat Clubber Lang. He wouldn't have beaten Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang is the best boxer in all these movies, to be honest.
Mr. T? Yeah. Clubber Lang, man. He would have.
He was.
I think
he was tough.
I think Clubber Lang would have hurt Drago. But Drago would have, like, after maybe the second round, he would have just.
I don't know, man.
Clubber Lang is like
bad dude.
Mike Tyson, man. He can boom. He can punch. The thing is, Rocky had like an iron chin. He could take all the punches, man.
Right.
And like he, his focus was speed. That's how he beat, Clubber. So.
Right.
I don't know, man. Didn't they have a Rocky game where you could play as all these boxers, or something like Fight Night or Knockout Kings?
Really?
Yeah.
What? I just love Knockout Kings. I don't know. I didn't know that.
I thought they did. Yeah, remember Knockout Kings?
I love that game.
Nintendo GameCube and
I don't know, PlayStation 2. I don't know, PS2.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But real quick, any thoughts about Forrest Whitaker and Ben Mendelsohn's Orson Krennic being in the Andor Star Wars series? I mean, it makes sense around that time. They would be alive, but
yeah, but
any
I don't
thoughts
know
on that? Did you like their characters?
Oh yeah. I think the Krennic character is obviously we're talking, in the novels that he's in, he's obviously way more fleshed out. But he's definitely a fascinating character. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see where he'll fit in the Andor series. I don't know. The time frame makes sense, but I'm really not really sure why. So I don't know. But okay, we'll see. And Forrest Whitaker as a Saw Gerrera, freedom fighter, rebel, terrorist. Some people might say. So kind of fits into what I know. Andor, Cassian Andor, kind of his parents, I think, were part of the Separatists. So I think he's movement. So it'd be fascinating to see if they kind of cross paths at some point. Maybe they were kind of try to recruit him, or they bump heads or something. I don't know. But start of Rogue One, he knows who Saw Gerrera is, so thinks he's a troublemaker. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's cool. I actually didn't know that.
And Liam Neeson commented on whether or not Qui-Gon will be in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I mean, he's got to.
Flying.
The man who taught Batman to fight is with us right now. Oh, Liam, you said that you got a couple more action movies up your sleeve. I wonder if you have any like Star Wars TV shows up your sleeve, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is in progress right now, and I'm wondering if you're going to be on that. Yes, I heard Ewan McGregor was going to do a series. No, I don't think so. No, I haven't been approached. They don't have enough. The thing about it is, you said you have, or you haven't been approached about it?
For me.
I haven't been approached. I see. Interesting. Because the thing is that, I mean, you're such a good actor, you could easily be lying and we would have no idea.
Nothing to say.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a no. You say no on that.
What do you think? Is he lying?
Probably not, but it's one of those things where they haven't asked him yet, so maybe they haven't. So he's going to be. Come on, he's clearly going to be in this series.
If there was an opportunity to bring Qui-Gon back into Star Wars, if there was one project, it would be Obi-Wan.
Absolutely, he'll be in it. He'll be in it. It's a series, so it doesn't. It could be at the end. It could be something where obviously he's said Yoda was teaching him how to commune with him from the Force, from beyond the Force. So he'll be. He came back and voiced him in Rebels. Not Rebels. I think it was Rebels or Clone Wars. One of those. I don't know. He came back and voiced him for one of those series. He'll do it. Liam Neeson. He's one of those actors that he's an actor for hire. Like you said, you pay him, he'll do it. So he said he would have played if the CW would have asked him to be Ra's al Ghul, he would have come back and done Ra's al Ghul on Arrow if they would have asked him.
Oh, he came back for Dark Knight Rises. Mind you, it was 6 years after Batman Begins, but he came back,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, with Clone Wars, Leroy. Yeah. Okay.
Clone Wars. Yep.
Yeah, he voiced him. Yeah, so he'll be back. He'll be back.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Yeah, that's it. That's all the topics we have. We talked about Indiana Jones 5 and our excitement for it. We talked about movie villains and some that we root for, some we kind of don't root for, but understand why they're villains and bad guys. That was a fun conversation. Keith, thank you again. Again, guys, we are live Sunday evenings, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you, Leroy, for stopping by. I appreciate that, man. Just a little bit of your time is amazing. And Star Drew, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You are the man. Let me play your drop. And Keith, before we go, anything you want to plug? Anything at all? Where they can find you?
Yes, I'm on Twitter at KeithBarnes79 and on Instagram at KeithBarnes1979. See me here every Sunday. Thanks to Gio again for having me. Catch me on Tuesdays on Apocalypse Movies, our YouTube channel over there. Two of us plus our other buddies. We do
Yes, sir.
a lot of movie talk to you and stuff over there as well. Tuesday nights at 7, live at 7 o'clock. Got a bunch of other cool stuff going on that channel too. So yeah, check us out over there as well.
All right, and you guys can find me on Twitter at Grey Goose Jedi, like it says right there on my name, Grey Goose Jedi. I'm live every Sunday evening, so stop by for the conversation. It's a fun way to end the weekend, just talking about movies that you may have seen throughout the week or TV shows or upcoming movies. It's always an exciting thing to share what you're into. So I appreciate that. Here at Fandom United, I put up videos almost every day, if not every other day. So make sure you check out the videos there. And again, you can find us live on Fandom United Live every Sunday evening, 7:30. But that's going to do it. You guys have a great work week. Be safe out there. And we'll catch you guys next Sunday on Fandom United Live. You guys take care.